Spanish colonization left the Philippines with a history both rich and painful. Tonight, we take a Kalesa ride through time, exploring the oldest schools and visiting the resting place of those who lost their lives in World War II. Join me on this journey through history. When was the last time you've been to Manila? Or have you ever been? Well, join me on my month-long vacation and experience the beauty, culture, and the everyday life in the Philippines. From stunning lights to bustling city streets, let's explore what this amazing country has to offer. Watch out for tips and tricks on how to make the best out of your vacation, from scoring discounts to driving hacks in the busy streets of Metro Manila. Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Fili. I'm your FILIpina connection living in Vancouver, and I am traveling to Manila for a month-long vacation. Intramuros is a centuries-old walled district that was once considered the entire city of Manila during the Spanish era. Areas beyond its walls, now part of modern Manila, were then called Extramuros, which means outside the walls, and were independent towns until the early 20th century. Intramuros served as the seat of government during the Spanish Empire from 1571 until 1865. While it is no longer the seat of the contemporary Philippine government, several Philippine government agencies are headquartered in Intramuros. Moreover, it remains a significant educational center as part of the city's university belt. Since the Spanish colonial period, Manila has been the center of education in the country, and Intramuros was home to various academic institutions. These are the first schools in the districts that were built in the late 1500s. Out of the 7 schools mentioned, only Colegio de San Juan de Letran, Santa Isabel College Manila, the University of Santo Tomas, and the Ateneo de Manila University continue to operate until now. World War II devastated the city, and several schools were forced to shut down during the war. In Intramuros, the University of Santo Tomas did not rebuild their campus in the district. At the same time, Ateneo de Manila University moved their institution to Sampaloc and eventually to Loyola Heights, Quezon City. Meanwhile, non-sectarian schools were built in the district before and after the war. Far Eastern University was founded in 1928. Mapua University moved from its campus in Santa Cruz in 1956, while Lyceum of the Philippines University and Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Maynila were established in 1952 and 1965 respectively. Now, for part 2 of our Intramuros tour, let me take you through the historic schools and the stories they hold within these walls, as narrated by our wonderful Kalesa tour guide, Kuya Ramon. Just in case you missed part 1 of the Intramuros tour, please check the link shown here to learn about the historic old churches in the Philippines. Meet my family here in Manila. That's my only son, Gian, and our ates, Cheryl and Anne.
At the wall seat of the truck, you can see inside the wall seat, only replica, not original. Because during battle for Manila, American and Japanese war, 90% of structure destroyed.
Oh,
But
okay.
inside the wall seat of Intramuros, we have a policy or law.
Ano yun po?
If you have a own building inside the wall city of Intramuros, if you want to renovate, making sure your outside your building is Spanish structure.
Yes,
To preserve the heritage of the city.
Yes.
That side, that's a La Castellana, that's a
Okay.
wedding center.
Oh, yeah.
But before, that's a Escuela de Nautical de Manila.
The stone outline of the defensive wall of Intramuros is irregular in shape, following the contours of Manila Bay and the curvature of the Pasig River. The Murallo walls covered an area of 64 hectares of land, surrounded by 8 feet thick stones and high walls that rise to 22 feet. This is Plazuela de Santa Isabel or Plaza de Santa Isabel, restored in 1983. This memorial is dedicated to all those innocent victims of war, many of whom went nameless and unknown to a common grave, or never even knew a grave at all, their bodies having been consumed by fire or crushed to dust beneath the rubble of ruins. Let this monument be a gravestone for each and every one of the over 100,000 men, women, children, and infants killed in Manila during its Battle of Liberation, February 3 to March 3 of 1945. We have never forgotten them, nor shall we ever forget. May they rest in peace as part now of the sacred ground of this city, the Manila of our affection, February 18, 1995. It is very interesting to see that there is a time capsule buried here, which will be opened in 2045. This will commemorate the 100th anniversary of lives lost during the Second World War.
Formerly site Adamson University. Adamson University, that's the first course of chemics from George Lucas Adamson.
Oh. Within the vast walls of Intramuros are several centuries-old fortifications. One of these is Baluarte de San Diego, a spade-shaped bulwark with a rich history.
Ateneo de Manila, first moved there yung Padre Paura and Ermita, no? But one of the mall, no? The Robinson Mall.
Oh.
But Ateneo de Manila, the final site that in Katipunan and Technical.
Oh.
But on the right side, it's the Puerta de Santa Lucia.
Mm-hmm.
But the Puerta de Santa Lucia, that's the original gate of the whole city of Intramuros, but built in 1503, but underwent and prevent late 18th century. But the original gate of the walled city of Intramuros, we have a drawbridge because outside the wall, that is a moat or water connecting to Pasig River.
Mm-hmm.
But the moat or water plane during American time, wiry plane. The Intramuros made from volcanic rock, but we call it adobe. But they like a favorite pieces of the Filipino like adobo.
This is the Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Maynila or PLM, also officially known as University of the City of Manila. It's one of the 4 universities found inside Intramuros today. PLM offers tuition-free education to undergraduate students. The site of the PLM campus now used to be occupied by the first university in the Philippines, which is the Universidad de San Ignacio. One of the government institutions found inside Intramuros is what we call DOLE, which is Department of Labor and Employment or Kagawaran ng Paggawa at Empleo. 2 of the oldest newspaper companies in the Philippines are found inside the Intramuros. The Manila Times is the oldest extant English language newspaper in the Philippines. It was founded on October 11, 1898, shortly after news that the Treaty of Paris would be signed, ending the Spanish-American War. The Manila Bulletin is the Philippines newspaper of record. Founded in 1900 as a shipping journal, it is the second oldest Philippine newspaper. Here's another university found inside Intramuros, Mapua University. Founded in 1925 by Don Tomas Mapua, an architecture graduate of Cornell University in the US, and the first registered architect of the Philippines. Mapua University is the Philippines' premier engineering and technological school. During the World War II, Mapua's Manila campus was used as a garrison by the Japanese forces during the occupation of Manila, and all classes and organizations were suspended.
Ito hospital.
Apo, that's a hospital
Yan, no?
Spanish colony, no?
Pero now it's Lyceum.
Naging Lyceum siya after World War II.
Oh.
Ayan po, siya po siyang presidente na.
Lyceum of the Philippines University was founded in 1952 by Jose P. Laurel, who became the third president of the Philippines, making LPU the only school founded by a Philippine president. The first university in the Philippines to be granted full international accreditation for hotel and restaurant management and tourism. At the Bayleaf Hotel, located within the historic walls of Intramuros, you can choose to stay and immerse yourself in the charm of old Manila, or simply dine at the Sky Deck, where you'll be treated to a breathtaking and unique view of the city skyline. This is Colegio de San Juan de Letran. It was formed through the union of two Intramuros institutions dedicated to educating orphans. The college's name honors the Basilica of St. John Lateran in Rome, and its chapel received similar privileges. St. John the Baptist, for whom the basilica is named, is also the patron saint of Letran. Throughout its history, Letran has produced notable alumni such as Manuel Quezon and Sergio Osmeña. You'll notice that there are bike trails all around Intramuros. You can cycle around incredible historic neighborhoods and exciting destinations on bamboo bikes. The guided tours are typically done in small groups of around 5 to 10 people. Please check the BAMBike Eco Tours link at the description below. If you ever get hungry while touring around inside the walled city, you can find a mix of historic charm and delicious cuisine. Some popular restaurants that offer Filipino and Spanish cuisines are Barbara's Heritage Restaurant and Ilustrado Restaurant. There are also some Filipino eateries and fast food like Chick Boy, Jollibee, McDonald's, KFC, and Starbucks. Just be mindful of the time because some of them close early. And that wraps up our unforgettable Kalesa tour of Intramuros after dark. I hope you enjoyed exploring the historic streets as much as we did. If you're ready for your own hassle-free adventure, book your tour online at Klook. I've dropped the link in the description below where you can grab a discount using my link. On the way home, we passed by another popular tourist destination in Manila. This is Rizal Park, formerly known as Luneta Park. This offers a peaceful ambiance where visitors can relax, have picnics, and enjoy the scenic view of Manila Bay. The park features a variety of attractions, including the Rizal Monument, which honors the national hero, Dr. Jose Rizal. After experiencing one of the best attractions that Manila has to offer, it's time to talk about something that every visitor and local has to face: our infamous traffic. But don't worry, I've got some helpful tips to make navigating the busy streets of Metro Manila a little easier for you. Number 1. Expect heavy traffic. Metro Manila is known for heavy traffic, especially during rush hours, in the morning from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. and in the evening from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Plan your trips ahead of time and use navigation apps like Waze or Google Maps for real-time traffic updates. Number 2. Driving etiquette is different. Drivers in Manila often improvise on the road, so stay alert. Be patient with jeepneys, tricycles, and especially motorcycles, frequently cutting into lanes. Defensive driving is key. Be aware of number coding scheme. Manila has number coding, or also known as color coding, that restricts vehicles based on the last digit of their plate number during certain days and hours. Those are just a few tips for now. Watch out for more. Don't forget to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more exciting journeys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next adventure.